Hello, hello, beautiful people of the astrology. Satsanga Astrology here. We'll talk in this video about the winter solstice in the northern hemisphere, the summer solstice in the southern hemisphere. So I will show the chart in order to study what is the energy that will prevail from now until the equinox. So we are planting the seeds for a new year now, preparing the soil, if you will, and I will explain everything about it. You know how to contact me. This is my email where you can order any report, astrological report, personal, synastry, and even answering questions that you might have. So here is the December 21st, 2023. I have the time, Central Time at 9:28 p.m. Is the solstice. Of course, the time varies according to the place where you live. And this is the chart that I will study with you and analyze and give you my ideas of what we are talking about here. So I always use, of course, I practice tropical astrology. I always use the Aries rising chart because it does not apply to any particular place in the world. I am talking about general energies that apply to everyone. So we have the solstice, of course, is the ingress of the sun to the sign of Capricorn. And as you may know, the sun oscillate throughout the seasons between the tropic of Cancer and the tropic of Capricorn. And as it apparently travels right back and forth between them, it is obviously due to the tilt of the Earth axis. And as the Earth travels around the sun, then the light of the sun hits different parts of the globe, more in one hemisphere than the other. And that's how we have the seasons. So, and the seasons are determined by the ingress of the sun to the cardinal signs. In this case, the solstice, this solstice is the ingress in Capricorn. And then there is the summer solstice, where in the northern hemisphere, where the sun ingress Cancer, and it will be winter for the southern hemisphere then. Okay, so having explained what the phenomenon is, traditionally it's been celebrated and feared as well because as we all know, in the northern hemisphere at this time of the year, we have the longest night and the shortest day. So people were fearful, thinking that maybe the sun will not come back, right? Okay, it had never happened, of course. The seasons are perpetual so far that we know of. And this chart shows at the time of the ingress, the sun is actually not afflicted. In fact, it's trine by the moon, which is very, very auspicious. Having a moon-sun trine is very auspicious, and it's reflective of progress and growth and improvement. So this is already from the start, the sun is doing well. And it's not a bad chart. It has a mixed bag, I would say. Some, I would say, challenging aspects, and then some very positive configurations. We'll review it. In general, we have one of the details that needs to be pointed out as a general view here is that from the region where the sun is with Mercury is going retrograde over the sun and will conjunct right the next day. There is the inferior conjunction of Mercury. Inferior means that the Mercury is in between the Earth and the sun, and it's very hard to see it. So not only is Mercury invisible because it's on the heart of the sun, but is also retrograde. So there are some disadvantages for the everything that Mercury represents, right? But what I wanted to say is that the fast planets, except the moon, obviously, that goes around every month, but all the other fast planets, Mercury, Mars, and Venus, and the sun are on one side of the chart, and all the other slow-moving planets are on the other side. And what does this mean? Of course, for several years from now on, the fast planets will either be conjuncting one at a time all the slow planets on one side of the chart, or they will be on the other side making, squares, oppositions, in again another square. So it will be a dynamic of hitting one after the other, especially considering Mars, for example. It stays 6 weeks in every sign, and it's the last year of his transit, where Mars will be hitting all these planets before the retrogradation that will happen this December next year. So Mars will be hitting, of course, the Mercury first, then Pluto, the Sun, Saturn, Neptune, Chiron, the North Node, first the North Node probably, and then Chiron, and then Jupiter and Uranus, all each in one sign. So from now on, we can expect some powerful event when Mars hits one by one these slow-moving planets. So that's a general bird view, I would say, of the chart. But I would say that the solstice relates to this time of the year in the dark, where we are preparing the soil for planting the seeds in the springs, right? This is compared to the agriculture, right? So it relates to this internal preparation that you're doing, emotional internal preparation, in order to start anew at the time of the equinox, when the sun ingress Aries, the sign of Aries. So the sun in Capricorn represents emotional strength, endurance, stability, persistence of creativity, and especially the ambition, right, to achieve goals for the future. We'll see that Mars plays an important role here. Mars in Sagittarius, doing activities and acting about things for the future, plans for the future. We're doing something about the future. So it also, the sun in Capricorn represents resilience and dedication, perseverance, and this inner motivation in face of adversity, because Capricorn is a very stern, earnest sign that likes to work hard and endure. So it needs stamina and fortitude, and also this power of survival, that fighting over the difficulties. And so it is a very strong, powerful sun, even though it is the winter. It's very far from its happy place of Leo, but I would say that having the sun in Capricorn illuminates, gives light over this archetype of Capricorn. So it has great reserves of strengths. So we are becoming powerful here. And remember that one of the things that usually is overlooked is that it's not only the goat sign, it's also the sea goat, which it's a very strange animal, right? Mythological, that goes from the deepest of the sea to the highest of the mountain. So it represents that this Capricorn is not a superficial kind of sign or archetype. It taps very deeply into the psyche, and with this strength and ambition to climb very high. So as I said, this chart has a mixed bag of aspects and influences, and I will talk one by. And I will start with the challenges, right? And the first challenge we see is this red line here between Venus and Uranus, right? Venus is separating from an opposition to Uranus. So we have tastes, tastes for things that are different. We want to experiment on the archetype of Venus. And remember that Venus is not that refined lady, sometimes, and especially in a Mars ruled sign like Scorpio, she's very deep. She is very intense, and sometimes she comes out with as a warrior, like she showed her warrior-like side when last time she conjunct Mars in Capricorn, remember, about 2 years ago, with the start of the Ukraine war. So she's not such a delicate lady as many people imagine her to be, right? But here in opposition with Uranus, she wants to experiment in love, in finances, especially she's looking for, in the financial matters, she might be looking for alternative investments, unusual expenses, sometimes spending too much. And I would say it could be also ruptures in the economy, or ruptures in fractures in the business, like, for example, bankruptcies. Financial speculations might go wrong. And Venus may be attracted to things that are not the regular things. So I think I already read about this fracture, rupture in the traffic through the Red Sea, through the Suez Canal. So because of the warlike aggression from some country to commercial ships, and not only American, but all of the ships that go through there. So they have to take the other route south of Africa and around to go to Europe, which takes longer. So that may cause rupture of stock in the supplies, materials, or whatever they are trafficking there. So that's one of the things. It can bring volatility in the markets and changes in currencies. It's very unstable. So I would not advise to do any important and big money transactions with this because it might go wrong. And there could be a devaluation, or it could be a temporary overvaluation, inflation of prices, and then after that they could go down. So I have seen news about the prices of gifts that people are buying that are going up, prices that are going up due to the holidays. But if you can avoid buying things, you can wait until after the holidays, and you may even buy them half price because they need to get rid of them. And if they don't sell it, a week later, you might get a very good deal. So these are all influences of this Venus that is not in her happy place of Taurus and in opposition with Uranus. You can have surprises in your pocket, in your bank account. Oh, and also be careful with your cards and monitor your bank account for any transaction that is suspicious or unauthorized. There could be system breaches in the bank system. So, and as I said, there could be acute fluctuations in the currencies, the value of currencies, maybe devaluation of currencies that happen and might affect the international trade, for example. So that's about Venus in opposition to Uranus. So now we have Moon is square Pluto. That is already very, very difficult, even though the Moon is separating already, but still it's a square. Out of sign in Earth signs, so this is not a very good preparation for the holidays in family environment, because it could be family manipulations, intense emotions, and trying to fix and regenerate the other member of the family. And there is a need to detox in family affairs. So problems may come up in family relationships that are, let's say, passionate, very passionate. as I said, there could be a desire, intense desire to fix others, to regenerate them, and manipulation, jealousy, and also the revelation of truths, right? The saying, "Oh, so and so, I know that you did so such and such, and you have been hiding this and that." And now a big revelation, and you are burned. Be careful with being aggressive, emotionally aggressive, because this energy is very difficult, especially in a family environment, but emotionally in general. So it could be power struggles and such things. Now, Mars is the next thing that is square, applying to the square to Neptune. One thing that we need to consider is that Mars is invisible. It's still under the rays of the sun, and when a planet is invisible, it doesn't show the full archetype as pure as it should be. So it's more of a the square to Neptune, right? More subdued, hidden, secret influence. So the actions may not be crystal clear. And another thing is that in a few hours, Mars will be conjunct the exact degree of the new moon in Sagittarius, where the new moon took place for this cycle, this moon cycle that we're living in. So Mars will conjunct this new moon degree. It was 20 degrees 40 minutes. So there is a reactivation of the new moon themes. In Sagittarius, Mars could be that crusader, that is fighting for their beliefs, fighting for the ideology, for religion, for cultural identity. But in square with Neptune, it doesn't go directly, like it's not frontal, it's more subdued, behind the scenes, more treacherous, I would say, because this Mars is not seen. It's like the submarine, for example, a war submarine that is navigating deep into the sea and is attacking a ship on the surface, for example. So that kind of thing. Because this Jupiter squared Neptune, and Neptune is in the decan of Scorpio, ruled by Pluto. So since, and I repeat every video, that since Neptune ingressed in this decan of Scorpio, we have seen the most terrible floodings that we remember in history. People have been killed by water, and there are damages, terrible damages caused by water. You remember about a year and a half ago, when Neptune ingressed that decan, we have started seeing those water catastrophes in around the world, everywhere. At this point, we are then actively engaged in the themes of the new moon in Sag that started December the 12th. It's because the moon is trine the sun, so we are very actively working on what that new moon started. So what else? So with the square Mars square Neptune, it could be a deceptive influence, as I mentioned, and also be careful in your holiday meetings with your family not to have this passive aggression attitude or deceptive action, like doing a thing that backstabbing and bluffing, making believe one thing through your actions that you really don't mean. Uh, One of the things that benefits this Mars is the quintile to Saturn, which in fact, this quintile is 70 something degrees. In fact, helps uh, for these actions that we engaged in to be durable. So be careful, uh, because anything that you create with your actions here, Mars actions in Sagittarius, may become durable by this aspect to Saturn. And there could be uh, creatively attacking people, I would say, in a very creative and subdue ways. So it can help this Mars and with its aspects can benefit artists, especially sculptures and people who are in the performing arts, for example, making movies, playing on a theater. That could be beneficial. Okay, let's now go to the positives that I say for the second part. So, and the following could actually save the day. So, at the same time, the moon squares Pluto, also trines the sun. I already spoke about that. And the sun and the moon sextile Saturn. As I said, anything that happens in the family could be triggered by this Saturn. It could come out of karmic relationships, but also the structures of the unconscious, right? Saturn, the structures, and Pisces is the unconscious. So it could be that the unconscious part of the psyche could trigger the emotional relationships here in the family. So the sun in Capricorn provides opportunity for maturity and an attitude of prudence. It can help responsibility. It could give patience and also make practical, realistic decisions, like being organized or organized a party at home with the family. This Saturn supports very well the mother, the father. So it's sextile both. It makes a small trine and is favorable. But be careful, as I said, with those unconscious conditionings that may, as I said, the archetypes, the planetary archetypes can be used in different ways. It depends on the decisions that a person makes. But in general, a sextile moon Saturn provides for some emotional sobriety in family relationships in this case. So the moon in Taurus is very happy, right? It's a moon that is it wants the pleasures, the small pleasures of life, wants to be relaxing, enjoying the food, enjoying the family environment. So it's a very nice moon, and it's almost conjunct Jupiter by about 4 or 5 degrees. So we can count on a emotional state or emotional mood that is very expansive, that is generous and optimistic. So for a while, we may enjoy this energy of projection to the future, right? And Jupiter is almost stationary because it will turn direct on December the 30th. So we have a very powerful Jupiter, in fact. It's not totally stationary, it's still retrograde, but very, very slow. So this conjunction makes for a very expansive emotional state. So be careful not to go overboard, as I said, in the expenses, because the Venus opposition to Uranus may really be disruptive, and it could be dangerous if we don't be careful, if we are not careful. I mean, if we are not careful with our pocket and bank accounts, it could be backfiring afterwards. So take advantage of using emotional sobriety. So because this moon can go overboard, as I said. Now we have Mercury retrograde under the sun rays. It is about to have the cazimi, the conjunction, where we can have a eureka moment, something that is a revelation, right? It happens just one day after, in fact, half a day after. And Mercury trine the moon and Jupiter. So this emotional, overboard, generous state, it relates to our review, our reconsideration, our well, studying, right? Mercury retrograde in Capricorn is studying, organizing, planning, is reviewing things. And this day, one could make important discoveries, have a mental illumination, as I said, and it gives great confidence in one's own ideas because of the conjunction with the sun. So Mercury here has a strong intellectual interest on systems, Capricorn, methods, organization, educational structures, and even institutional structures. So it's a very, very good time for example, a head of state who is trying to organize his or her government. So this is very good for authorities, for governmental authorities to organize themselves or plan or review plans and projects. So Jupiter, as I said, adds a high level of optimism. So be careful not to go overboard and trust too much of what's the future, what the future promises. So finally, this is a year when travel has more chances to go smoothly. So let's hope that for this holiday season, travel is better than the previous years. Even though Mercury retrograde, it always saves us, saves us some disruption, and it could contribute some hiccups to travel schedules or causing delays. Be careful with the baggage when you travel. They could be misplaced. Nothing too big. I mean, Mercury in Capricorn is very happy there because Mercury likes the organization, the structures, and so it really is supportive. Um, so um, it may be, in fact, Mercury in Capricorn may be hyper attentive to details, for example, reviewing and reviewing again. So make sure that you get all the details before traveling. So I think is very very positive solstice. The energy is carried out for the next 6 months. And other points that we need to remember is that Pluto at 29 degrees is very, very, it's an energy of endings and trying to wrap up things and leave things behind. So whatever house Pluto is traveling in your natal chart, Pluto will give you this sense of urgency. Okay, we need to finish this business, whatever it is. If it is for house, it will be something about the family or family members or the house or moving houses or whatever it is. If it is a first house, it's all about yourself. It's about probably your health and so on and so forth. But if you would like reading, remember that you can contact me. Now, the nodal axis is in Libra and Aries at 22 degrees. And in between Chiron and Aries. So we have here rebellion, resentment by Aries, and then Chiron, the vulnerability. So we will have all the eclipses on this axis, and next in October next year we'll have already a Pisces eclipse. So for all of that, follow me, subscribe to the channel, and you will receive all the notifications when I post a new video. So don't hesitate to follow me on social media. Here you have my email as well. You can contact me. And if you like a reading, you can go to satsangat.astrology.blogspot.com. I have a page that says how I work and what I offer. And it explains every reading that I offer, and there are prices and all that. So please visit any of my social media. I'm already in Pinterest. I didn't mention it here, but yeah, you can contact me for any question you may have. And thank you for visiting my channel, for subscribing, making a comment, liking the video. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.